Why, hello, and welcome to session 10, yes, of Glittering Night in Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition. I am your storyteller, Stu, and we have players. We have 4 of them. 5. 4? 4.
5 normally, 4 today. Hi, I'm Joey, and I am playing Colin Shaw, the Toreador LA playboy / musician, who is mildly concerned about where we ended last session and kind of can't wait to figure out how we're going to get out of it.
No waiting.
Hi, I'm Pooja. I'm playing Lakshmi Shaw, a Tremere, who, bonded a mage and missed all the excitement.
That's all right. You can jump in the excitement now. It's going to be very exciting.
I'm sure it will.
I'm Sam. I play Anna Sophia, who is your friendly neighborhood satanic nun, Malkavian, whose visions have caused our current or at least led us into our current predicament. So yay!
Is that it? All 4? Excellent.
No.
Okay.
No, we're missing Storkus.
Is Stork not gonna? Oh, he's watching TV.
He's busy.
No, we just can't hear him at all, apparently.
Is your mic muted, Stork? Yeah.
Come back to us, Stork.
We can't
Can you
hear
hear me
you
now?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There he is.
Weird. Okay. All right. Hey, I'm Stork. I'm playing Floyd Gilmore, a Bruja, and I am also worried about where we left off because I didn't make another character.
Okay. Does someone want?
It's cool. It'll be session 00.
Right. Yeah. Does someone want to recap what happened 2 weeks ago?
I could do that.
Excellent.
Let's see.
Story time with Sam.
Consult the tome. Anna Sophia compelled the medical examiner, Dana Compton, to sample her blood, ghouling her and inviting her to tomorrow evening's mass. She agreed to attend. The next evening, Felix gathered submitted images from his selfie contacts on social media and noticed some oddities in a couple of places. One with reinforced doors, cameras, and other weird qualities. He sent the location as possible Second Inquisition data center. Colin asks everyone to meet him at the mall to discuss the text he got from his ghoul, Samuel, who says the scene of Miroslav's lair didn't look consistent with Operation Persistent Dawn. No shell casings, no incendiary rounds, etc. So, was it an inside job? Could be Anna Tremont working with the Anarchs, possibly. Felix texts Big Head to meet up and see if he has any info on the whereabouts of Anna Tremont, then sets up a meeting with Balanos Vasilopoulos, the Bruja Primogen, in Long Beach. He takes the old book elevator down to a sub-basement in the library, where he finds the Primogen and tells him about our info on the Second Inquisition. They didn't commit the kidnapping of the prince and ask for his help in finding Anna Tremont. Vasilopoulos doesn't hold out hope for Miroslav's unlife/return, and so what's the plan then? Miroslav's wife, Georgina, would be Balanos' choice. The Primogen doesn't think that Paul Morphy would do something to harm Miroslav. Floyd meets with the police chief, Daniel Abernathy, at the Rose Bowl to ghoul up and get some info. He doesn't know much about the explosion, one occurred, but no residue of accelerants or explosions were found. The epicenter is indeterminate. Sounds like magic. Pasadena PD hasn't shared much info about the Rose Bowl incident, and Abernathy agrees to make some calls. Colin goes on a date with Margaret, the mayor's wife, uses Blush of Life to appear alive, and seduces her back to his place, then ghouls her. We all meet at the mall, and Floyd shares his info about the magical explosion. Possible that Lakshmi's new mage ghoul did this? Anna Sophia gets a vision during Mass. She finds herself in the burnt office of the Mote of Sin, walking through to an empty store, out into a parking lot. Absolutely no one is around. It's devoid of life. Walking all the way downtown at early dusk, completely empty. There's a starless, moonless sky and no noise except the occasional wind. Meanwhile, Floyd, Colin, Felix, and Samuel the Ghoul check out the possible data center. Felix summons a possum to question. It says that one person carrying some dead bodies over the shoulder in through the door. This is a bank building, so that's pretty weird. Felix removes the padlock and opens up the door with the others, weapons at the ready. Colin is overwhelmed by the smell of rotting human bodies in a tunnel. There are like 18 to 20 corpses in here wrapped in tarps. Floyd opens one to look for identification of any kind, while Felix takes photos of the recognizable ones. Most of the recent ones have ligature marks on the neck. Floyd identifies one as missing from El Segundo for a month, a housewife, another man in his 40s from Reseda. Maybe a serial killer Lair? Doesn't really seem like Second Inquisition, though. On the way to Golden Road to meet up, Anna Sophia fills them in on her vision. They suspect it's the pocket dimension, and maybe Miroslav is there. Felix gets a call from Vasilopoulos' assistant that they can't reach Anna Tremont. Dead, kidnapped, or traitor? Who knows? Floyd texts her number to his ghoul, Chief Abernathy, to dig up her phone records. Felix checks in with Scully for her most recent known lair. He goes and breaks in to look around. The next night, January 23rd, Abernathy gives Floyd a last known address for Anna Tremont's phone, right next to the Mote of Sin. Guess we're going in a pocket dimension adventure. Through the burned office into the empty dimension, phones don't work here, but Felix steals Marion Duluth's Range Rover, the only car in the parking lot. Anna Sophia navigates them downtown based on her vision. Felix finds us the closest underground access to the Nosferatu tunnels, and then Colin finds 4 sets of tracks leading in a direction. They follow the tracks down the tunnel and suddenly veer off to the left to the service door, which Felix unlocks, and they proceed down a hallway to a marble section opening onto an opulent room with a casket in the center. Inside is the desiccated corpse of Miroslav. Then behind us, how did you people get in here? From Anna Tremont. Found her.
Okay. I would like to kind of talk about what Lakshmi was doing last session. I'm figuring our assumption was that you were either interrogating, dealing with, or consulting with your mage in the storage facility.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that I got really caught up in trying different experiments with the mage to either attempt to like awaken my own power back or go or like tap into her power.
Okay. By this point you've given her blood what, 4 times? I think 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times.
Okay, so at this point she's very cooperative. She tells you like right away that she's having difficulty connecting with her own magic, and because Anna Tremont had once tried to ghoul her previously, she had the same problem.
Okay. So from now on, I'm not going to try to get her to a higher level of cooperation or anything.
Okay.
By feeding her more blood now. I'll just give her from now on the amount that I need to keep her.
I think that's once a month. I think. Yeah. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. So that way, I'm not further contaminating the power inside of her.
Got it. Okay.
And yes, that's exactly how Lakshmi thinks of it.
Right. Okay. Now, at some point, did the party, I'm assuming, let Lakshmi know where they were going to go?
Yeah, we probably would have sent her text as we were figuring out where we were going. Just assuming she wasn't going to answer because she was busy, up to her neck in Mage.
Right. Okay.
Up to someone's neck.
Right. What is that something that you would either share with Marion Duluth or at least ask about?
I think after our first round of experimentation is done, yeah, I would
Okay.
be like, oh, by the way, there's a shit ton of people going into your pocket dimension.
Okay. All right. So
Not so very pocket.
right. All right. So she tells she's not really surprised that you guys found it, but she tells you that Anna Tremont is probably there, and if the timeline, the way things were going to work, panned out, she's probably extremely powerful right now. Because if things went as planned, she has murdered Miroslav and diablerized him.
Wow.
Which was, the plan that she and Anna Tremont came up with.
Who else was Anna working with?
No one. Not yet. I mean, she may be trying to garner allies at this point, but this was a
Solo power play?
Yes, and it fit in with my ends because I wanted Miroslav dead because he killed my apprentice.
Mm. Okay. Well, it sounds like the rest of my coterie has gone into a situation a little bit more problematic than they knew. Let's go
Understatement
find
of the
them.
century.
Let's go find them.
Okay. She tells you, she says, if you want to save time, I might be able to open up a passage to that pocket dimension here rather than you having to go all the way to Burbank.
What did you think I meant when I said we?
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I mean, what is the point of you if you can't open portals to your own dimensions wherever you go?
Okay. So this means you free her.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I probably actually freed her from her restraints earlier because, when we were going through the experimentation, and once I was sure that she was cooperative with me.
Got it. Okay.
Because what's the point of ghouling somebody if they won't do what you say?
Exactly. Wow. Okay. All right. She has to try a couple of times in order to make it happen, but she's able to. But she is able to do it, and she apologizes and says, "This is most likely due to the presence of your blood. It's interfering with what's going on."
Well, this is actually perfect for our purposes because the ways that you find to work around it should help me tap into my own power.
Maybe. Okay, so basically she sort of opens a curtain in reality, and you're seeing another portion of the inside of the storage unit. It just looks a little darker, a little more shadowy.
Mm-hmm. So I try my phone to see if I can get in contact with them that way and find out.
No
Phones
bars.
don't work here. Do you know where Anna's holed up?
Yes. She's in her lair.
So, let's go.
Okay. And off she goes. She commandeers a car, because there are cars on the side of the, parked on the side of the road. So she commandeers one and opens the passenger door for you.
I get in.
Okay.
She's such a good. So glad I found you.
And she goes. She drives down to downtown LA, and I don't remember. Did I? Because it's in the old. It's still in the old subway, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's what I thought. So she leads you, down a manhole cover into a old subway tunnel from the 1920s. You follow along this area of the tracks. You make a left, and then you can kind of hear. You're walking along, and she's like, and she stops and she says, "I think she's here." And then she kind of puts a finger to her mouth to like listen, and you can kind of hear someone talking.
Okay, I am going to attempt to. Sense, like, to see if I can hear understand what they're saying, blah, 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 blah.
Awareness and intelligence.
Thank you. I was like, what do I roll?
And don't forget your hunger dice. Oh!
Yes.
Oh, no, it's not an,
Oh,
this is a
God, what are you
continuation.
doing? That was... Sorry. I'm just gonna... Does somebody want to roll, because my dice roller is apparently broken.
Have Stu do it. He'll roll all successes.
I can roll. I roll
it's 6 dice with 1 hunger die.
6 dice with 1 hunger. Okay.
Like all of my stuff is gone for some reason, even though it was here before.
One, 2, 3, 4 successes, 5 on the hunger die.
Great, thank you.
All right. So you hear Anna Tremont's voice, and she's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And we'll start the scene from where we left off last time, because that's how we ended it the previous time. So you're basically, let me just kind of set this. So you're sort of you're kind of in the main subway tunnel, and there's like a little service tunnel off to the left, and you can hear Anna Tremont's voice coming from that direction. Shut up. Every time a car drives by, my ring goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
no one needs to, at this point, anyone can do or say whatever they want.
Right.
So.
I need to do a rouse check to pump my toughness. It needs a rouse check, and so I can get
Toughness. Stamina?
No, it's one of my disciplines. It's fortitude, and it just takes a rouse check to do it. And once I succeed,
Then
I guess I do
I
it.
think you add. Isn't that the one you add the dots of your fortitude to your stamina? Is that how it works?
I think so. I'll look it up.
I'm
yeah,
looking
I think
it up.
it's similar to my rapid reflexes.
No.
I have that as well.
Fortitude.
But fortitude is something that you could do before a scene. Yeah, boy.
No, you have it at level 2, so it's toughness.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry. It's toughness.
You
under
subtract
fortitude,
fortitude from the defender. The fortitude of the defender from all superficial damage sustained. This occurs before having the damage and cannot reduce the damage below 1.
correct.
So it
But in order
doesn't
to-
actually boost your. You have to make roll 1 die. You need a 6 or higher. Well,
Right.
actually, you succeed anyway, but you're gonna gain hunger if it's not a 6 or higher.
Yes, but I have to do it. I have to declare that I'm doing it before we start the scene,
Go ahead,
or
roll away.
I succeeded.
Okay. Anyone else?
So remind me when I get hit, because I will get hit, that I have that on.
Okay.
I mean, I remember, or I think I remember I had reflexes already on from our previous session. Would you like me to roll
That
a rouse
sounds-
check?
I think you guys.
Is it just
I think you did. We'll call this the same. We'll call this the same scene, since it was a cliffhanger. But I think you made
Okay.
that rouse check last time.
I
Okay,
seem
perfect.
to remember, because I remember thinking, should I put my toughness on? I'm like, no, I'll just fail my rouse check, and then I'll just be hungry, and there won't be anything in there. So I remember thinking that, so I'm pretty sure you did do your rapid reflexes.
okay? Cool.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I was using Unseen Passage and Invisible because I remember asking if it made me visible to open the casket,
Right. Okay.
which I didn't. I think Jim did,
Right.
so I should still be functionally invisible.
Right.
So does rapid reflexes need a rouse check to get going too? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Joey?
normally it does. I think.
Because I have that as well.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other one. I think rapid reflexes. I believe is just always on.
It's always
Let me
on.
confirm.
Yeah. I think you did something
rapid
else,
reflex.
but I do remember you doing it before we entered the Upside Down, because I remember thinking, well, I should probably do it too. I'll just fail and be hungry. And
I don't know. Maybe I did, but yeah, that one doesn't cause a browse check. But so it's always on. I mean, I was just saying that I remember doing it, or maybe I brought it up and made you think of your toughness. But yeah, okay, so that's on. Cool. All right, Anna. We were looking for you.
Well, you found me.
okay,
Glad,
so go ahead.
glad to see it. You look different. Haircut?
A little more powerful than I was before. I'm going to throw my hat into the ring.
Hmm. Any particular reason for this change of occupation?
Oh, I don't know. If you, I'm not sure if you guys have been thinking what I'm thinking, but you got all these really old world vampires who are trying to fight a foe that is as modern as it gets. And I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I mean, Paul Morphy's very smart, way smarter than I am. But he's also, was born in the early 1800s, and he's got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to things like the internet and computers and things like that. And, I mean, I can't even tell you how old. Shit, I just lost her goddamn name.
Wife. Miroslav's wife.
Georgina.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even tell you how old she is, but I mean, I'm sure it's a whole hell of a lot older than Morphy. So, but it seems to me they're not fit to handle this. I mean, the whole cell phone thing, that was my suggestion to them. It didn't even occur to them. They can't even think about things like technology.
I mean, you're not completely wrong. Why don't we talk
And
about
it must really have grated to work for somebody so stupid for so long. Not to mince words.
Are you talking about Scully?
Yes.
Did you just appear behind her?
She does flinch when you do that.
We all do.
Yeah.
Scully is competent in his own way. I'll give him that.
Well, he does appear unassuming.
Yes. And that is an act.
So, let me get this straight. You're fulminating a coup, and you want to go in and secede Miroslav, and you expect to do this by yourself?
Well, I'm just starting. I had to get to the point where if I can hold on to the seat of power, I need to be strong enough to do it. And I had to that had to come first. Plus, I had to make sure the seat of power was empty. So I was able to kill two birds with one stone.
Well, yes, but by actually killing yes, okay. It just seems that you've woken a sleeping giant and filled it with a terrible wrath, because now you've got everybody vying for power and nobody's going to acquiesce.
Well, they will eventually. It may take a little time, but it will happen. I mean, I think Georgina's going to be the toughest nut to crack, because she has the Posebny team. She has those Eastern European...
Not to mention, the anarchists are just claiming parts of the territory as is.
Right. And they did that with Miroslav fully in power. But I mean, she's basically got her own Second Inquisition. And as soon as that happened, I was a little leery of it. I don't know if you guys were, but it seems to me a little dangerous to have a whole bunch of extremely highly trained mortals that have been specifically trained to kill us.
You seemed fairly dismissive of them when we encountered them the first time in the Rose Bowl.
I
They
wanted
didn't
to
seem very effective back then either.
I wanted to see what they were capable of. And I don't think that he was using them for their purpose.
What do you think he was using them for?
I think he set them up as a way to ensure his own power. I don't know who he was threatened by, but I think that was the case. And Georgina has all but inherited them.
Yes, that we have heard.
So, I mean, Paul Morphy, by tradition at least, would be the first person to consider as the new prince. But there's no way he's going to be able to take that when she's got an ace like that in her hand.
No, when she has an army of her own backing her up.
Right.
Though the same applies to you.
Right now. Speaking of which, where are your guys' thoughts on this whole new prince thing?
We're standing here with, let's see here. How old was Miroslav?
Miroslav was old. Let's see if he was like 6th generation or something. He was several hundred years old and powerful as hell.
6th generation is really what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been quite the feat luring him away and incapacitating him long enough to... what is the tactful way to say this?
I hope you find it.
Co-opt his power for your own.
Yeah, it was a necessary play, and I did have some help. Now, I should ask, where is Marion at this point?
I had Miriam stay a little bit back.
Okay, so she doesn't know that she's there yet. Okay, well,
No.
clearly she knows. She's figured out that you guys know something about this because you're here.
Yeah. But, from everything I know, it's quite the, struggle of wills to take on that much at once.
It is. It was. It was not easy.
I suppose what I should be saying is congratulations, then.
Well, thank you.
It seems like no matter what avenue you choose, getting those soldiers off the board is going to be your main focus.
Yeah.
Have you thought about trying to, I don't know, convince the Primation Council to move against the Anarchs with them? Or put the humans against themselves and send them after the Second Inquisition?
The Posebny team?
Yes. I mean...
Well, I don't command them yet. I mean, if I could...
No, but if you can get yourself in a position to bend the ear of Georgina, which will then put you closer when you're ready to take the throne.
Yeah, that's possible.
You don't think Georgina is going to find it slightly suspicious that you suddenly show up much more powerful, reeking of her husband's aura?
Oh, I mean, I have to be careful, certainly. But I always kind of wondered if the whole Posebny team thing may have been Miroslav's attempt to protect himself from her, maybe? I don't know.
Mm.
The
Trouble
fact
in
that they went
Paradise?
The fact that they went over to her so quickly after his death makes me suspect that she's been the one pulling their strings in the first place. That might be old familial bonds. It might just be easy to call in and have their visas revoked. We might be able to do that rather than try to kill them all.
Yeah,
have them deported.
Getting them off the table would be a very large boon.
Or at least occupied. I mean, it's certainly if they're mortals, they have to stay somewhere, and they're foreigners. Certainly somebody, and armed foreigners at that. Certainly the mortal world would be much more interested in them than we are.
That's true.
Unless they've already... I mean, assuming... Just for them to get the kind of weaponry that they have been using, to have access and be able to wield it, to use it so openly on the night of the Rose Bowl attack.
I'm sure that the Burbank Police Department, if they were to go by one of their apartments or safe houses and found that weaponry, would certainly open an investigation, and that would keep them busy.
Oh, absolutely. I just have to find out where she's keeping them, and I don't know where that is. I mean, at this point, it's last I heard, she's sort of, once Miroslav disappeared, she kind of went into hiding.
How hard could it be to find 60 Slovakian gangsters?
That are well trained and know how to go to ground.
In the LA area. They gotta get food.
Have you met the people who live next door to us?
They've got to get food, they've got to get ammo, they've got to get... There's got to be a paper trail somewhere.
I mean, that's true. I mean, not the food part, but the ammunition. The mortal world tracks that kind of thing quite.
And they have to stay somewhere. I doubt they're in a cave. They have to have food and beds and transportation. All of that costs money and leaves a trail.
Well, if Georgina's as paranoid as Anna believes, it's possible that you might be with her. When you want your elite force protecting you?
Some of them, maybe.
Some of them, definitely.
In shifts.
I mean, didn't Paul Morphy say as much?
I think so.
I think he did, yes.
Do you have many Kindred allies, Anna?
Oh, I get around. I have a lot of contacts. I mean, I'm sort of Scully's gopher, so I'd probably know at least one or two people in almost every coterie in the Glittering Night.
And would they back your claim?
Some of them might. I haven't started the recruiting part yet because I needed to get my ducks in order before it was time for that.
And the fewer people that know of a plan, the better.
Exactly. At this point, I'm not quite ready to go public with it, but I'm definitely ready to start testing the waters and seeing where people stand on the whole Glittering Night Prince thing.
Stu, based on what I know about Paul Morphy, since he is my primogen, is he the type that would just go whichever way the wind blows, or does he have some kind of staunch allegiance to Georgina? Like, at least, and like based on rumor or whispers or whatever. I can do a roll if you want me to. I have politics.
Yeah, go ahead and roll politics, maybe intelligence.
Okay. And then with my Camarilla specialty come into play?
Absolutely.
Just making sure. Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5 regular dice, 1 hunger die. Okay. Oh, well that is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, 2 of which are 10, so that's 6 successes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nice.
You know that Paul Morphy is more of like in the vampire world, he's more of a policy wonk than necessarily a quote unquote leader. He's sort of his role in Miroslav's reign has very much been making sure everything is maintained, making sure everything's orderly, keeping Miroslav appraised of all the things he needs to be appraised of. You know, he's definitely, his mind is definitely very well suited to that kind of work. Because, you know, I don't know if Paul Morphy was an actual real person. He was one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was one of the very early chess grandmasters. I don't know if they actually.
Oh,
had
that's right. You brought that up last game, and I forgot.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a few that predate him, but he's one of the early ones. But he's certainly, at least from your dealings with him, and probably from people you've talked to, you probably know that he's not the sort of seneschal who is hiding a dagger behind his back, waiting for his prince to let his guard down.
Mm-hmm.
He's more about doing the job, but he's also probably, by tradition, or he would be the next person that the Primogen Council should at least consider as prince. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and he's going to be one of those people where I will not seek the office, but I will serve if called. That kind of thing.
Okay.
As far you got 6 successes.
Yeah.
As far as Georgina goes, she's more of an enigma. I mean, there's always been murmurings that she may have been the power behind the throne. And there also probably have been rumors that she and Paul Morphy probably butted heads occasionally, if they each had a different opinion of what should be happening.
Okay. Yeah, that helps. I was basically trying to figure out if Paul Morphy was a Varys type person who is more about keeping the peace and will just support who he thinks is the best for the realm, or if he's someone who's going to have some kind of loyalty to the status quo.
Well, he probably has never struck you as the sort of person who sought the massive authority of a prince.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, conceivably, if the Primogen Council decided that were going to go with someone else, or he would probably support that decision. He might end up being replaced as seneschal, but he probably I don't think he would be willing to go to war for it, or at least from what you know of him.
Mm-hmm.
Cards off the table, though, if you're talking about like a coup, like what Anna Tremont's talking about.
Right.
Who knows how he's going to react to that? I mean, Georgina becoming prince, it's conceivable that he may not like that, but he might be willing to go along with it. Anna Tremont, probably not, especially considering how she did it, if that ever came out.
And that's the thing too, is the whole Diablerie situation.
Right.
That's going to be a hard sell.
Yeah.
It's also hard to. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. This is all in your head. There's no reason for me to communicate.
So, what's your plan?
Well, before I give too much of that, I'd kind of like an answer to my question as far as where you guys stand on the whole who should be the next prince thing. What way are you leaning?
Well, it seems to me that you're holding most of the cards right now. First of all, you've clearly Diablerized Miroslav, and we're stuck in an underground chamber with you blocking the exit. Second, there is now a power vacuum, so regardless, somebody's going to have to take over anyway. So it seems to me that things are already in motion. It's either one of 3 people. You, was it Victoria?
Georgina,
and Paul Morphy. from what I gathered from Paul, he really more just wants to maintain the status quo. He never really struck me as somebody that's into a power play, but I don't know him that well. Georgina, on the other hand, seems old school and may have orchestrated this, or at least allowed it to happen. So it's, as far as I can tell, it's between you and Georgina.
Well, there's also George Palmer.
Mm.
And the Camarilla, especially at a time like this, is going to be very uncomfortable with a power vacuum, and they are going to want that power vacuum resolved quickly. And if we don't do it ourselves, they may order George Palmer to do it, or send someone from the inner circle to take over. And then we're going to be left with the same situation.
And that's another thing, is that the Anarchs are already breathing down our neck. We really don't have a lot of time.
That's right.
I'm of the opinion that we just need someone in charge so that we can continue on. But perhaps we should all discuss this together. Can you give us a moment, Anna?
What happens when you have the Brewhog being the face?
Sure, absolutely. And she says,
Thank you.
In fact, I will be heading back towards the the real world, I guess. I don't know what to call it. And you guys all have my cell.
Oh, good. So that is still your number. There's not a new number. Perhaps a number more clandestine that we want to reach you regarding more sensitive topics that we could reach you more directly and not under the eyes of anyone who can tap a phone line.
Well, I mean, I would just use it for meeting. I wouldn't have any critical conversations over a cell phone network.
You know that people are looking for you, right?
I'm sure they are. I've been a little scarce lately. I've been busy.
Yeah.
Scully has been looking for you. He didn't seem terribly
impressed.
Or pleased.
I would just be cautious.
Yeah.
If you're trying to count him as an ally, I may want to revisit that. If I were you.
I've never really counted him as an ally. But I wouldn't consider him an enemy.
I would do what I could to make sure that stays the same. As one to another.
Well, I'll leave you to your cogitation. Unless anyone has anything else to say to her before she walks out.
Yeah.
No? Okay. So she walks down the thing and...
So she's left, so we could actually get out now without her tearing us apart?
Well,
I mean, technically, as soon as I got here, y'all could get out whenever. That's why I snorted when you were like, and you're blocking the exit.
Yeah, that's a neat trick.
That is a neat trick. It's conceivable that if we could get to the outside, we could lock her in here.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought maybe... Actually, this was my backup plan in case she turned out to be hostile off the gate.
She seems
because
very...
Lord knows I don't want to have to fight someone who just diablerized the prince.
Exactly. And she brings up some really good points, and Lord knows we're not really equipped to take her on, or any of them by ourselves. If there is a power vacuum, somebody needs to be in charge. What do we think?
She's a child who doesn't even have the ghost of an actual plan.
Yeah, but she's got the power to back it up.
So does Georgina. So
but
does Paul Murphy.
What she has, or what she doesn't have, is something that perhaps we can offer.
Is she actually younger than we are? Or was?
I don't know if you know that.
I mean, she'd still be the same age, like, Just because her blood potency's gone up doesn't mean that she would have necessarily gotten older.
But we also don't know when she was raised, really.
Prior to... I don't know. I mean, anyone who's got that sort of history or Camarilla can make a roll to see if they've at least heard rumors. Okay. But, I mean, she might keep kind of... I mean, a lot of vampires probably keep a lot of that stuff kind of close to the vest.
Yeah.
I'll do a politics with Camarilla to see if I've heard a rumor. Intel again?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I like these dice. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, but no double anything. So 4 successes with a 9 on the 100 die.
Got it. She was embraced, I mean, from what you've heard, sometime in the early 20th century. Like,
so she is
pre-World War II.
So she's younger than us.
Well, younger than us. She's older than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Stork, your character was embraced in the 60s? Is that right? Something like that?
I think I said 70s.
70s, okay.
Oh, I thought you said 80s.
Maybe you're right.
Because you had because you're good at technology. Like, you were like, oh, doctors and computerized records.
Yeah. Well, I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah, you can probably rock a Commodore 64.
Yes, I can.
Unbeatable at Pong. But I'm not...
His favorite movie is Tron. The original. He thinks the sequel is crap.
I just watched that again. Yeah, it wasn't my imagination. It did suck.
Right?
Every now and again you have to watch it like, was I wrong? Like, could they really have screwed that up? No, they really screwed it up. Okay.
It's like, how high was I?
Well, like, how high were they?
Yeah.
But I don't think that siding with her is something we should disregard outright.
I'm not saying we should disregard it. I am saying that we should go into it with our eyes open. She's not the strongest player on the field, no matter what her personal power level is. She has exactly 0 allies. But we could use that and turn it into a positive for ourselves.
Exactly.
If we align with her and she succeeds, we leverage that to a much better place for ourselves in the new Glittering Night.
I agree.
Was mind reading one of the powers you just got? Because you are saying exactly what I'm thinking.
I've also been a bit concerned about the old guard being completely clueless about modern technology and even this modern times. They don't even really know how to deal with modern weaponry, let alone cell phones and computers. And they spend most of their time planning and hiding, and they aren't even really aware of modern world and how satellites and how quickly information can get shared or broken. She at least seems aware of all of this.
I think painting them all with that kind of brush is a mistake. There's a certain amount of... Not everyone who knows technology is as overt about their skill as, say, I am amongst you.
But surely those that also excel at technology can feel the oppression of those who are not hindering their own abilities or feeling enslaved to them because of what they can bring. If we can help her promise those people a higher place in the order as well, that gets her more allies. And I'm just saying, the idea of being the new primogen of the Toreador is not something I would hate. I think I'd look very, very good in that robe.
I mean,
I don't know if he actually wears the robe, but...
If I'm successful with Miriam, then I'll be a lot more than the Tremere primogen. But, in the meantime, one doesn't just say no to power.
Well, the other option is to play both sides against the middle and just maintain sort of neutrality or help both sides until we figure out who's going to succeed. I don't really know if taking sides is even a good idea yet, because we're the ones that are going to be sticking our necks out. She's going to be hiding while we do machinations to help her?
Absolutely not. If nothing else, no one's going to support her bid for the throne if she hides away and sends minions to do her work. I'm not adept in politics, but even I know that.
No, that's not what I meant. She still needs to. She still needs to basically canvas. She needs to find out and amass her power base. She needs to find out who's on her side. She needs to start putting that in place and moving her pieces around. Right now, she's only made the first move, and nobody knows about it except us.
Well, here's the genius of our current position. Say we agree to help her, and she amasses the power she needs, and she takes over, and we become everything we ever wanted to in the grand scheme of the Glittering Night. Wonderful. Let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say we side with her, and after a short period of time, we realize she doesn't have a leg to stand on. We'll at least have been privy to some very vital information that we could take to who we think would be the best suited for the throne, and report to them. We have been gathering information for you against someone who wants to usurp you. Here it is. We are your faithful servants. Let us help you remove this threat from the board. Either way, we win.
Not to mention the fact that a stalemate of any length does not serve us.
Yes.
Between the Second Inquisition working with the anarchists. Because let's not forget that that's what led us to all of this in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, we currently have the opportunity to determine who the next prince of the Glittering Night will be. I suggest we don't waste it.
We should at least find out what she's willing to offer us in exchange for our support. Because
Oh, sweet Caesar's ghost! I forgot you were here.
I've been behind you the whole time, Colin.
Ah!
Oh dear. Miriam, you've spent a lot more time with Tremont than any of us have. You were so close once.
Yes.
Do you think she has a leg to stand on here?
Well, she has access to this pocket dimension, which is in and of itself an extremely powerful tool.
I mean, but that access exists upon your mercy, correct?
Yes, but I've given her something so that she can create passageways between it wherever she likes.
What was that?
A small amulet.
If it came down to it, would you fight for her?
No, she was a tool. I just wanted Miroslav dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're in the thick of it now.
Oh, it's okay, Miriam. I won't let anything happen to you.
I actually find the whole thing fascinating. I've never really been much involved in the politics of your kind, and I'm finding it quite interesting.
Okay. As an outsider, what are your thoughts?
As far as
perhaps an objective view could shed some light on the situation.
Well, I think it would depend on what you want. I mean, if you could take the information and go to either Georgina or go to Paul Morphy. Both of them would be extremely grateful, and just having the information that there was another player on the board in itself has an enormous amount of value, and you could get something out of it. Then again, while she has no allies per se, she does know a lot of people, and she may be able to get allies. And if she can, then she may end up becoming a viable candidate for this. And if you were her earliest supporters, I think it is safe to say that you would probably reap the most benefit from it. And honestly, I can't see that the older ones are going to displace their faithful primogens in lieu of you. If you get my meaning.
I do.
We'll get a pat on the back from the old guard, but Anna's in a
we'll
position
get
to actually give us
Pasadena,
what
which
we
we already were going to have.
Yeah.
Yes. We could get a pat on the back, or we'd be the ones patting people on the back.
I have a question for you, my dear. Anna, when we were speaking just now, suggested that you assisted her in the Battle of Wills when she took on Miroslav's power.
Okay, before I answer that question, I just want to make sure I got the timeline correct. You were not in possession of her when Miroslav disappeared, correct?
No.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think we found her. We didn't know she existed until like the night after he disappeared, or the night he disappeared.
I think it was the night, like, yeah, something like that. Like, it's possible that she helped Anna take him and whatever.
Okay.
And then she came to the ice cream parlor and we took her right after. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, that's kind of that was how the timeline went in my head. Okay.
It seems like we found her because she drove by in the car, right? I was supposed to be posing as somebody.
As an Anarch.
She drove by as an Anarch. She drove by and kept going, and we followed the car. And I think that night that I was posing is the night that Miroslav disappeared. I believe that's...
Okay. So yes, she says, yes, I would. I did help her to an extent. I'm not supposed to play a extremely active role, but I did provide assistance.
How, darling? How?
Well, my portion of it was making sure that she was able to get in there unseen, and that she had no difficulty leaving with him.
So nothing in the... It was important to me to know that her will alone subdued the blood.
Well, it was a daytime attack. My understanding, I never saw her. She just asked me to help her out. But my understanding is that she staked him while he slept, and then was able to convey him here.
And then you blew up his lair?
That was her extraction, I guess you would call it in military parlance.
So her cover was to bring him here, and then you made it look like there was an explosion.
I cleared the hallways so she could get back out.
Makes sense.
I'm a little... Why couldn't you have just blown up that area with all that fire with him in there?
Then Anna wouldn't have been as strong as Miroslav was,
No.
and she would have no chance of taking the throne.
But you have the power to do that.
I could have. Once I knew where he was, I could have just blown him up. Sure. But my agreement with Anna was that I'd afford her the ability to diablerize him.
But you could do that to any vampire, or even, say, a group of Eastern European mercenaries if you knew where they were.
Yeah, I mean, there are some constraints on what I am allowed to do and not do, and if I do too many things that are outside of what I should do, I will draw the attention of people that you do not want in this city.
I did want to know exactly how closely you worked with the Anarchists in the Second Inquisition.
I don't really work. I worked with the Anarchs. I don't work with them. The Inquisition, they don't know what I am. And I provided them a little bit of assistance basically in order to get some operating funds.
So you know sort of some people who are in charge and where their cells are?
Not in charge, but I know a few people in what they refer to as the human intel arm. They're not the soldiers. They're not the the electronic intelligence people. They're the people on the street. I know two of them.
Well, friends, it looks like it may be time to at least appear to choose a side. What are our thoughts?
I think Anna will probably treat us better than the old guard, but I don't know if I want to tip my hand and let them know what's going on. I mean, I sort of feel like we need to let Anna make her move first before we pick a side.
Well,
We can
there's marching through the streets saying that Anna is Prince, and there is telling her that we side with her and help her gather support and gather information in case we decide to change sides.
I'm for that. We could play both sides against the middle if we have to, or at least stall long enough to get away. But there's definitely going to be a new sheriff in town, or a new leader in town. It would be nice if we had some say in that and got something out of it. I think Anna's in a position to give us more out of it than the old guard.
We would definitely
with that.
benefit most from her ascension. You know, Satanists always in favor of insurrection, so that's not off the table for me.
Yeah, my thing is whether we can.
Against each other.
I mean, it's the diablerie that's going to be the biggest obstacle to overcome. I mean, even saying that people believe that a stronger Anna Tremont is more modern and capable of dealing with the threats in a modern way, she has a major obstacle to overcome in the fact that she just diablerized the old prince.
Well,
which will be obvious to anyone looking at her for years to come.
I think any of those old school vampires, if they claim that they've never diablerized anybody, are lying.
Not about whether they did or didn't, but about whether it's an accepted practice and how far they're willing to.
They're going to
bend.
pretend like they're very offended, but at the end of the day, they've all done it and gotten ahead the exact same way.
I've always wanted to play my violin in a burning city.
You realize the glittering night is on fire every year. You could just play your violin in the summer.
There's actual flames, and there's the flames of beautiful insurrection. There is a difference. The lighting is better in insurrection. Not to mention the heat.
True.
So,
Plus, go ahead.
so we're gonna tell Anna Tremont that we're going to support her, and meanwhile gather intel just in case.
Yeah, just to keep our options open until the last minute. Because if something doesn't break soon, she's going to have to operate soon, as she said. Otherwise, what did you say his name was? The charge of the glittering, charge of the Camarilla. He's going to have to step in and.
Oh, the
Justicar.
George Palmer.
Who we also have a working relationship with.
Yes,
well,
we
not
do.
so much you, Floyd, but the rest of us do. You'd rather put your foot in it, if I remember correctly.
Did I?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure I saved his ass from Griffith Park, didn't I?
Yes, and then you nearly compromised our mission in Idlewild.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you obviously paid for that.
Yeah.
But it did not help the Justicar's opinion of you.
No, but the rest of us, still on pretty good terms, we did save his life.
Yes. So that is also an option open to us. I mean, perhaps if he's going to clean house, let him clean house. That will provide a large amount of vacancies, and if we can prove ourselves invaluable to him in his execution of cleaning house, perhaps his vacancies will be filled by us. Literally, options are falling at our feet. We just have to pick one. Well, I mean, pick one eventually.
Yes. Appear to pick one for now and then pick a different one later, just in case.
Agree.
Many paths are open to us, and sometimes they intersect more than once.
Good. I'm glad to see we're in agreement.
This marble room that we're in that is like a duplicate, pocket universe version of Miroslav's lair. Are there any items of interest about?
If I recall correctly, it was the chamber in here was basically like it was basically just like a coffin room, and then but I believe didn't I say that there was like a doorway that led off somewhere beyond it?
Yeah. It was eventually the dirt path turned to marble, and it was very ornate on the inside, and then eventually, that path brought us to this room.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think I think I recall saying that there was another passageway beyond. I think.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, because that's how I got in,
No, I think you just followed our path.
Yeah, you came the same way everyone else did. I'm talking about inside his chamber. There's another passageway.
Well, let's go down and take a look before we leave.
I just want to have a look around, see if we can get any information.
Okay.
To help us while we're here.
Is there anything in the casket at all? Because she moved the whole casket over here, right?
There is soil in the casket.
Does that hold any power? Anybody know?
Well,
Only
you kind of
the vamp who has to sleep in it.
Yeah, it's about going to ground. It's a whole thing. I think, right?
I think there's in the old books. I'm assuming that it exists in the new one too. There was a thing you could take, like a drawback or whatever they call it. That's you needed to sleep in your native soil.
Folkloric veins, because I have the holy water one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think there is it's like a disadvantage you take that you have to sleep with at least a handful of your own native dirt.
Yeah.
Is there anything on his desiccated body?
His clothes,
rings, amulets.
I mean, there's probably some jewelry. There's probably a signet. Well, she would have taken the signet ring.
That's what I was looking for.
That she would have taken. But he's probably got other rings. His wedding ring is probably still there.
Oh, that could be fun to rub salt into a wound eventually. I'll take that.
Okay.
There's no books or
the next room is sort of like a sitting room / library.
Just real quick before we go down the hall, Miriam, do you control you created this pocket dimension?
Part of it. It's a collaborative effort amongst many of us.
So this,
and it's not complete.
It's just segregated off from the bigger section of what you all created?
Yes. I mean, there are some sections that are adjacent to each other, and you can pass from one mage's section to another. This area is a little more isolated. There's no direct connection.
You created this section.
It's been a work in progress that predates me, but I'm the caretaker of this section of it currently.
If necessary, can you shut it down?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
That would definitely bring in people to ask me what I was doing.
I'm sure, and just method of last resort.
Yes, I could. And anyone left in here would just be gone.
Nice to know we have a nuclear option.
As in completely gone. As in nothing left.
Yes, that's what God means.
Not even a spirit.
I hate to say it, but that could
That's
be a
why it's
very
an option of
quick.
last resort.
Or is it?
Yes, because you have one pocket dimension able to be shut down
Mhm.
before you lose the ability to access any of them.
But, oh, Georgina, oh, Polymorphy, we think we might know where Miroslav's body is. Please,
You're not willing
come,
to...
come with us and confirm, identify the body.
I'm not
We
willing
blink
to
out,
do it
close
yet.
the door, and it's over. I'm just
I think
saying.
there are much better ways, and Anna needs to prove herself a little bit before we do all her work for her.
I agree. I'm just saying that we should have all of our pieces on the table.
If you're able to come and go anywhere in the city, this also works as a great base for us. Especially when the shit goes down, because nobody but us can get in here.
Anna Tremont has a key.
And Anna.
I'm not giving her a key to my house.
Well,
But
Hell,
us
even if she
having
becomes
a,
prince,
Mar-
and we are her trusted servants.
Marion will interrupt at this point and says, well, she kind of already has that. If she could find out where your lair is, she could go to its shadow or mirrored location here and simply walk into your lair. That's one of the reasons this is as powerful as it is.
But we could do that now, too.
well, no, because we don't have the amulet that she does.
We have her.
I could, yes.
Well, that's a
That's
interesting.
why Anna doesn't know where we currently reside. She only knows the old location, and we haven't been there in ages.
Is there any way that you can shut down her key?
I'd have to possess it to do so. But yes, I could if I had it.
Does the key only work for her?
No.
But I wouldn't necessarily want to take it from her at this point. No reason to piss off the possible would-be prince we're trying to put on the throne.
No. I just want to know the extent of this. If she could undo it, if we needed to, or if she can. Yes. Okay. So we could ostensibly, using her, do what she did to Miroslav to any of the other vampires. We could go to their lair, open it up to the real world, pull them in here, and deal with them.
Yeah.
Or even, say, Eastern European mercenaries, if we know where they are.
We would still have to
You still have to overcome
deal
them.
with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's a cupboard and you shove them in and just shut the door and
No,
like
but we can
we
go.
would still have to deal
But
with
we can
it.
use this as a way to get there without, or get close, go into the real world and deal with them there, or have her deal with them there, if we can figure out where they are. But we can use this as a way to travel around undetected, unseen, and unheard. Does the sun ever come up in here?
No, there is. It's complicated, but no, there is no actual sun here.
I think there's a better way of disposing of those mercenaries than just popping them in here and sorting them out ourselves.
No, you don't. You guys. I'm thinking of this as a way to travel to a nearby area, pop into the real world, and deal with the mercenaries in the real world. But we can use this as a ways to travel back and forth. I'm not necessarily talking about pulling them in here, although we could if we needed to. I'm saying that this is a way for us to get around without being detected, without being seen, and without at any time. We could even do it in the daylight.
Agreed. But I think a more public destruction of the mercenaries at what appears to be the hands of our foes may make a better play for Anna.
Makes a better play for us.
If Georgina's main
And
points.
we would have to, at some point, explain the existence of this place cannot be let out. No one else can know.
Yeah, that's fine.
No one.
I'm just finding this as... I'm just trying to figure out how we can use this to our advantage. It seems like a really powerful tool. We're able to get around LA without dealing with traffic, mortals, any time of the day or night, and go anywhere we want.
Sounds like heaven to me.
Yes.
So, we
So
now
I
have a
guess
power...
that does beg the question. Darling, can you make more keys?
It would take me some time, and I'm not sure how effective I will be at making them with my blood in the condition it's currently in. I can try, but I don't know how well
do
they'll
try, and we'll work on it together. I mean, it is part of the ultimate goal, after all.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we do now? We want to go back?
I want to
So-
search Miroslav's apartment. See if
Oh,
we
yeah.
can find the information on the mercenaries or his general plans and things. Because since this is a copy of his lair, we might be able to find some information that will help us.
Any personal notes between him and Georgina that we could use? Any information regarding their relationship, his relationship to Paul Morphy, the inner workings of the Primogen Council? I mean, if we can get some of them on our side through blackmail or really any means,
Okay.
that's just going to be a boon for us.
Well, there's probably some letters in the sitting room. So there's probably letters that he's received from every member of the Primogen Council. So you tell me who, and I'll tell you what they're saying. As far as the Posebny team, I just thought of something, and it's something he would totally do. I'm going to roll dice to see if he actually did this. Okay, yeah, 3 successes. Who speaks who can read Croatian?
Rude.
The letters that he's receiving from the other Primogens, those are probably, they may not necessarily be in English, but they're probably going to be in a common language between the two of them, which might be English, or it could be French, because French was the international language of diplomacy for a long time, or something like that. But probably his diaries or his own writings to himself are probably written in Croatian.
Okay, we're going to take those with us.
Okay.
Google Translate is a thing.
Yeah. I mean, even Google Translate gets right sometimes. We can piece things together.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, you can at least get close. Here's the other thing I'm thinking about. If this is an actual mirror copy, and if he had any secret vaults or hidden compartments, they might be duplicated here, but I'm not sure how to find them.
You can,
Heightened senses would probably help.
Detect traps.
Right? Like has detect traps.
Provided there are no more, vaults full of decaying corpses for me to smell and vomit all over.
you could make an awareness wits roll to see if you can find such a thing.
Can I do that with my heightened senses?
Yeah, what is that? Does that let you add?
I think it adds my aspects to
Okay.
my investigation
Sure.
wits. Okay. Investigation, wits, and aspects. Okay. Not a whole lot, but it's something. Nope. No, it's not a critical failure if I rolled a 1, but if the 1 is not on the hunger die, right?
Okay, if you roll no successes at all, it's a critical failure, but it's not a messy critical failure, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
But I think that's...
Yeah, I got
critical
no
failure is
successes,
no successes.
but I got a 5 on the hunger die.
Okay, so it's not a, what do they call it? That's not a bestial failure, but it is a regular
Okay.
critical failure.
Okay. I critically failed on my heightened senses to try to search for traps, which is terrifying, thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Who is in the room?
Oh God.
All of us, including Jim technically, but he's probably safe for, not being here today.
Right.
Surprise, Jim! My critical failure accidentally killed you. My bad. I owe you a beer next time I see you.
I wrote that. I think I wrote this down.
So,
hold on.
I went to the bathroom and you critically failed.
Yeah, he critically failed looking for
traps.
Essentially, right?
Well, looking for secret doors. Not looking for traps, but looking for secret doors.
Right, but you did get an actual honest-to-God critical failure.
I did. Yeah, that's going to be real cute. That's going to be a good look on me. I'm very excited about what's going to happen.
I'm looking for...
But did you get a bestial failure?
No,
I did not.
No, it's just
I did not.
Regular, plain old critical failure where things go horribly wrong.
Lovely.
Let's see.
Never a good time when Stu's like, let me look up exactly how bad I can make this.
I'm trying to. I copied something over from the rule book, and I can't find it right now.
It's going to be hilarious if we survive. If we talked our way out of a confrontation with Anna Tremont to get killed by traps in the sitting room.
Yeah, all I was hoping was that we either find information on people's lairs or dirt on the other.
That's what I was hoping for too. Unfortunately, my dice had other plans.
Yeah,
They can't always be good rolls.
Nope. But I should have known. I've been rolling terribly all weekend.
That was us last week in City of Towers.
Yeah.
So bad.
It's.
I mean, it's a miracle we're all still alive.
I made a dangers section, and I put sunlight, fire, extreme cold. But for extreme cold, I put this is LA. Look it up if necessary.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm almost finding it.
It would have been nice to have a map of like everybody's lairs. That'd be exactly the kind of thing that he would have. But
I mean, I doubt it would be the kind of thing he just had lying around. Like, even in secret, like, that's the kind of thing you memorize and destroy.
Or have, like, in different pieces around your lair. Under a bust, or, with the key under the carpet.
Okay.
do we know what Stu is looking up?
I've got it. I found it.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Oh, extreme
Like,
cold.
we all have access to the rule book in a form where we could search it for you.
Well, I didn't know what it would be under because the way it's organized is weird. Okay, so you're wandering around searching for things, looking behind paintings, looking underneath throw rugs and things like that, and you accidentally trip an incendiary device.
Cute.
So if you're in the room, and I'm talking about this is the antechamber. This is his sort of library. I'm going to say that you're taking four points of aggravated damage because it is fire. If you're in the next chamber, you're only taking 2, where the coffin is, and if you're in the hallway, you only take 1.
Okay.
So, like, if we're in the hallway between the coffin and the study?
Well, there's more like an entryway between the two of them. If you're in the coffin room,
okay.
you'll take 2. If you're in the the library, you'll take 4, and if you're in the hallway outside where you were going along the rail tracks to get in, then you'd be 1. Because it's an enclosed area and it's exploding and it's going to fill and burn the way that stuff burns.
Cool.
Okay, so you said 4 aggravated, right?
4 aggravated.
Yeah, okay. Where is my... There it is. Oh, that's not good. That is most of my health. Okay.
Yeah.
Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Love it. Love to see it.
How do we regain health again?
Well, Stork, do you remember how you regained it? I know it was a lengthy process.
Basically, you got to rest. And I was just looking at my character. It says...
Oh, I've got the notes here.
Well,
You cannot heal Ag until the next nightfall. Upon awakening, vampires must make 3 rouse checks. They heal 1 Ag.
Oh, yes.
They may only heal 1 Ag per night. If this increases hunger beyond 5, the vampire falls into torpor. So,
Cool.
you're going to heal 1 point a night, period. But you need to make 3 rouse checks, and if you fail any of those rouse checks, that's increasing your hunger.
Right.
Got it.
So keep a lot of herd around.
Wait, you had, like... I mean, I know it's a critical failure, but... Seeing as you just took a crap load of damage... is there... Never mind. I can't even make that work in my head. I was like, you had the good reflexes, but not good enough.
Yeah.
Well,
I looked it up. Rapid reflexes. Unless I was also looking at maybe what Stork was remembering. Maybe I rolled fleetness. Because fleetness helps, and that requires a rouse check. But rapid reflexes only helps against projectiles.
Okay, so I think I'm going to say I'm in the room with him.
Okay,
it's my
and
idea.
I'll say if anyone with celerity can probably knock 1 point off wherever you are.
All right, so how many dice am I rolling?
You're not rolling.
You're not rolling
It's
any.
just-
What are you rolling for?
I don't... Okay, how much damage did we take?
4, unless you have celerity, and then you can say that you kind of ducked behind something, perhaps.
I
and
do have celerity.
Then you took 1
I
less.
was just looking up my toughness to see if that takes anything off ag damage, and it doesn't. It's just off of superficial damage.
Right.
It's actually pretty useless.
Well, I mean, it's
Oh
good
no,
against-
most things do superficial.
Yeah. It just fire, werewolf fangs, or werewolf talons, vampire fangs, those things all do ag. At least to you.
Right. So, okay, so you said it was 4 dice. So
No, not 4 dice. 4
sorry.
points.
4 points.
Unless you
minus
have
1.
celerity, then it's
I
3.
do. Oh, it's 3. Okay.
And it's ag. It's not superficial.
Right. So that comes off my health.
Cool. So I would like to go home and take a nap and eat.
Hmm.
Okay.
God, son of a! I'm glad he got Diablerized.
What?
Did you just
That's
destroy everything in there? Well, so much for finding out any information.
Without exploding it for once.
Well, it's not. It didn't like engulf the whole thing in enough fire long enough to actually destroy all of the books and everything.
Okay, good.
Any pieces of paper laying out on tables, those are gone. But I mean, volumes, they're probably just singed. Because if it was hot enough in there for long enough for them to all be burned to ash, you would all be burned to ash.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
So
basically just like
concealed
it momentarily filled with fire and then it was gone.
So the personal diaries I have in my pocket are probably fine.
Yes,
Great.
that kind of stuff is fine. But like the letters, those are probably gone.
But anything in the desk would be fine, like inside any of the drawers or anything like
Yeah,
that.
and even the books on the bookshelves.
Cool.
'Cause
Well,
he's got,
I'm not touching anything else in here.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna come in from the other room
okay.
and be like, "Da fuck."
Yeah.
But also, I'm still healthy enough to search what's left.
What kind of madman bugs his own antechamber with incendiary devices?
The kind with things to hide.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm glad he's gone.
So I'm gonna take each book and kind of shake it and see if there's anything in them. Or do we want? How many books are there? Hundreds? Dozens?
Oh, there's probably like 3 or 4 bookshelves full of books. Some of them are journals. Some of them are like the typical stuff you would find in someone's library, like fiction, or he's probably got 9 copies of The Prince by Machiavelli, things like that. But but I mean, some of them are just books that you can just go buy at a bookstore. So that kind of stuff, no. But his journals are there.
We should at least take those.
Absolutely.
I was just going to sort of take each book off the shelf and shake them to see if there were anything in them, maps or bookmarks or pressed flowers. Maybe one of them opens a secret compartment.
No.
Scooby-Doo.
Nothing like that. But you've got, let's say, 5 journals.
Sweet.
I like to think that what I was doing was looking for one of those secret compartments, and I pulled the book Dante's Inferno, which...
It was Adam's Family, right? Greed. And he pulls greed out and opens up the treasure chamber.
Can I sense the unseen here? And it would also allow me to sense any dormant blood sorcery spells and rituals.
Ah, okay.
That makes sense, considering his wife is Georgina. There might be something here.
Can you also sense unseen compartments?
I think isn't it mostly magical stuff?
I was sort of kidding.
Yeah.
Sort of kidding. No, it's anything from another vampire using obfuscate, someone using auspex to spy upon us, ghosts, and also dormant spells.
Yeah, if that was in character, Stork, you definitely get side eye from Colin.
I mean, I'm not even justifying that. In character, I'm not. I'm just pretending like you didn't say anything.
So you're using Sense Unseen, correct?
Yes. Wits plus Auspex, or Resolve plus Auspex.
Right.
Which, in my case, is going to be Resolve plus Auspex. 2, 3, 4, 5... Yeah, cool. I got 0 successes, but not at critical.
You're... if vampire actively searches for a hidden supernatural entity, you roll Resolve. If it's sort of passive, you roll Wits. So, where's it? For example, detecting a vampire using Obfuscate would be a roll of Wits versus Auspex versus Wits versus Obfuscate. If the vampire actively searches for a hidden supernatural entity, they would roll Resolve versus Auspex similarly.
So I'm actively, so it's still Resolve.
It should be Resolve. It would only be Wits if it's like a more of a passive roll, like if someone is walking, like someone is using Unseen Presence or something like that in the room, and because it seems like you get supernatural. Makes a hidden roll. The storyteller makes a hidden roll of Wits versus Auspex against the difficulty they choose. So if it's a passive thing, then it's Wits, but active is Resolve. There is nothing in here. In fact, there is a complete lack of any kind of magic.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like there are any other magical traps.
There's no
magic at all.
I wonder how much you trusted Georgina.
It's also a big ol'... I guess he figured his more mundane traps would take care of any intruders. And so he didn't have her set up any wards or anything. Because you would expect, or it's because it's here, and none of that transferred.
You know better than I would. Because I'm still putting myself out.
Cool. So I guess... Oh, never mind. We can amuse ourselves.
Till he returns. Is there anything else we want to check out while we're in here? In this little pocket dimension?
I mean, that was why I was like, oh, well, we'll do the next thing. But it's really hard to, like, do the next thing while Stu's gone.
Well, amongst ourselves, is there anything we're overlooking?
The desk?
Well, yes. But
Definitely look through the desk.
do we want to try to go to Anna Tremont? Or do we know where her lair was and see what she has there?
I think if she knows that we can travel in this dimension, she probably would suspect that if we don't trust her, that's something we would do. I think doing that tonight is a fool's errand, especially if we want to gain her trust. However, we do have one of us who can move without being seen.
Sure.
Yeah, is there anywhere else we want to go tonight in LA? I mean, if everything is duplicated here, is there anything... I mean, we could always do it later, I suppose.
I feel like the best thing going forward would be stuff that we need to talk to the Kindred about.
Honestly, I think our best course of action, if we are going to try to gain Anna's trust and really cement ourselves in a position of power in her new order, the best thing we can do is devise a plan to get rid of her biggest opposition, which is the mercenary army.
Stu's back there, Pooja.
Yes. But, Anna Sophia, didn't you want to search the desk?
I did want to search the desk, but am on fire and no longer wish to do so in case it explodes and I die.
Fine, I will do it.
I will be in the other room.
Have fun.
The desk only has like one little like file drawer and then like the drawer where you keep all the pencils and pens and stuff, and they both have locks on them.
I have a lockpick.
Would you like to larcenize them?
I can larcenize them, yes.
Larceny plus dex.
Do a larceny.
Actually, that's the first lock I learned to pick was when I worked at McDonnell Douglas, was the lock for the big wide drawer. Because I was sitting there all day long, so I got a couple paper clips out and figured out how to...
Two successes.
Two. Okay, all right, that's enough to open the locks. So you find there are some files in the larger drawer, and this seems to be a lot of information about the Posebny team. There's dossiers on members, histories, what countries they're from, what military units they belong to, what sort of training and specialties they have. Looks like there's a total of about 30 of them. At least there's 30 files.
Doesn't say what hotel they're staying at, does it?
No, it does not say what hotel they're staying at. Or the room number.
There are no receipts for the Glittering Knight Hilton?
No.
I want to pull the doors all the way out and flip them over and look underneath.
Okay.
Basically take the desk, kind of all the drawers out of the desk and look around inside the desk and underneath the drawers.
Got it. You don't see anything hidden like that. And in the other drawer, there's like pens, and there's bottles of ink, metal nibs, quills, things like that.
Sealing wax.
Change. Oh yeah, it's sealing wax, but not his signet ring. Matches. Paper clips. Pocket lint.
Well,
I
that
think
seems useful.
Yeah, that's all that's really of any use in this desk. And I think we've got what we came here for. We've got the journals, looked through all those books, and we looked through the desk, and I can't think of anything else. We checked his coffin. We checked him. I think we're done here.
Agreed.
Okay. Where do you want to go back to normal time? Unless you're going to play around in here.
I would like a nap and a juice box.
A blood bag.
No, that's what I call humans, is juice box.
Yeah. I was trying to remember what they were in Mad Max Fury Road. I think they were they blood bags?
Yeah.
Blood bags. Let's go back to a central location.
Well, what about the mall?
No, I don't trust Anna not to be lurking.
Golden Road?
I was just thinking that.
Yes.
There's that park in Silver Lake, or in there's some parks that we could go to that are in our territory.
You're unpopulated since we are mildly singed.
We could go to Griffith Park and just reapparate there and go our separate ways. I'm just thinking for safety, so that we don't just appear at Golden Road surrounded by mortals.
Well, I mean, it's not like any of them are paying attention anyway. But yes, if you want to go, those are just my suggestions.
The park is probably the best idea. Less attention drawn to us the moment, the better.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we'll go to Griffith Park and reapparate there.
Okay.
I liked this coat. Oh well. You live and learn. Or unlive and learn.
But Dad, now.
It only took her two.
Because you're making dad jokes.
It only took Marion 2 tries to open the way back to the real world.
Oh, good job. Alright, well, I'm going to go back to the church and eat a few people, take a nap, maybe try and translate some of these journals.
What time of night is it?
Oh, it's probably getting close to dawn because you had a whole day last session, a whole night last session. This is kind of the end of it, so I would say it's probably an hour before dawn.
Hmm.
It's early morning of January 24th, according to my calculations.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go to bed. I don't care much for the rest of this evening. Between vomiting and being burnt nearly to death.
So how do you heal aggravated damage? You got it.
The next night, you'll make 3 rouse checks. You heal 1 point, but you might take hunger. And if your hunger ever reaches 5 or reaches 5 or exceeds 5, then you go into torpor.
Right. Okay.
But you make 3 rouse checks every morning. basically until you no longer have aggravated damage, and you regardless of what you get on those rouse checks, you automatically heal 1 per.
Cool.
Let's do it. So what night is it? It's the
It is now the night of the 24th.
Okay. 24. All right. Let's see what these rouse checks look like. All right, I got a 6, a 6, and a 10.
No hunger?
Yeah.
Successes.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 successes.
So you increase your hunger by 1.
2 successes for me also.
Increase your hunger by 1, and everyone loses 1 point of ag damage.
Hooray!
All right, so I'm going to visit my herd and get rid of my 1 hunger point, and then God, did I have?
You should have had 2. Well, you can only go down to 1. Sorry, never mind.
Yes.
Unless you murder someone.
Yes, I have 2 hunger right now total.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll meet up with my herd as well and get rid of 1 hunger.
I'm going to spend the time quizzing Miriam on how she worked past her.
Oh, okay.
How she tapped into her power working past the vampire blood.
Okay, all right. She basically just told you that she kept trying harder and trying to concentrate more. She says when she's working magic right now, it's difficult. She's finding it difficult to concentrate.
Interesting. Well, what do you need to make a new amulet?
She gives you a shopping list of a few things. Do you want 1, or do you want more than 1?
What's that?
Do you want 1 or more than 1?
Just 1.
Just 1. Figure probably because there's probably a gem in it. Probably about $1,000 worth of stuff total.
That's cool. I mean, we looted all those dudes.
Oh yeah, you've got tons of money.
Oh yeah, we do.
like even the fact that I wasn't that well off before this, it doesn't matter.
Right.
We got a lot of money from the Second Inquisition guys.
Yes.
Didn't you actually find some diamonds on them, or was it just cash?
No, it was just cash. It was electronic cash. Yeah.
It was bank account numbers more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I will spend the morning covering all the mirrors in my apartment until I'm beautiful again.
Okay.
Amazing.
Contemplates ordering a Phantom of the Opera mask online.
Are you guys meeting up?
Well, yeah, we have a lot to discuss. I'll send a text once I'm done being melodramatic to the group.
Okay.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. After I'm done with my herd, I guess I'll head to the mall and wait there.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Did I ask the police chief to look something up? I can't remember.
Phone records for Anna Tremont's number.
And then he said that would take time, or no? He
Bless
figured
you.
that out already because we already figured that out because it was right before the mode. That's why we.
Yeah, you asked him to get some information from Pasadena PD about the Rose Bowl incident.
That's right, and he said he was going to
make some calls.
Okay, so I'll meet up with him.
Okay.
After I deal with my herd, and see if he has any info for me.
Yeah, he's extremely confused because Pasadena PD, his contacts there didn't hear of any sort of incident.
I see. It's like the Men in Black showed up with their little mind wipe thing.
Or or Ventru with Dominate. Or Nosferatu with Dominate. Or...
That was it.
Really
Also,
anyone would dominate.
yeah, I got some Donkey Clouds of some memories.
Okay.
I mean, it's like the first thing that you can get.
Oh, Forgetful Mind or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Right.
Cloud Memory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's basically Dominate 101.
Okay.
And he finds that strange because, I mean, he may not have witnessed it, but he may have know other people who've witnessed it. But as far as his police department contacts, they know of no such event.
Oh, you are right. Sorry, it's so people don't actually us. It's Forgetful Mind that you would need for this, and that's a level 3.
Right.
Oh.
Sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just also didn't want.
Yeah, I mean,
actually
it's a
diabetes
really big
in it.
event that, like, and I know Rose Bowl has joggers and golfers and,
Oh,
drug
sure.
dealers that are there 24/7. So they couldn't have gotten to everybody. But you're saying the police department specifically has no records and no recollection of it. But he heard through the rumor vine and through the rumor mill
Right.
phone calls, complaints.
Well, they have records of phone calls and people saying, "Hey, there's a shootout going on," blah 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 blah
Right.
blah blah. But none of them. Clearly, someone has gotten to their brains
Got it.
because they're like, "What? No, there's nothing." Yeah, there's people said there was, but we couldn't find anything when we got there.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
Okay. Well, I'll tell him to not worry about it for now. If he hears of anything more, just let me know. Just keep an ear out, but don't put yourself in jeopardy looking for more information.
Okay.
And then I'll head to the mall to meet up with the rest of the coterie.
Okay.
When I get to the mall, I'm going to send a text full of ardor and strong feelings of love to my new ghoul. Very sad that I cannot meet with her this evening. Blah, 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 blah. Basically, throw some Lord Byron at her and just change the name of who wrote it. She's not going to know the difference. No, it should be more melancholy than Lord Byron. We'll go with Percy Shelley.
Okay.
So, who has these journals that we took from Miroslav's Lair?
Well, Anna Sophia has
Sophia?
at least some of them. I don't know if she has all of them.
What language are they written in? Because you said you were translating them.
Croatian.
Or I was at least gonna give it a good try.
You just give it to your coterie, and they can go to the library and just deal with it during the day.
Oh yeah, see, you guys like dead languages.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Croatian's not dead. Just like
Is is Croatian romantic based?
Good question. I actually don't know.
Nobody looked
Wait,
askance at a bunch of
what
goths
language
in the library looking up Croatian.
Croatian is not a romance language.
No,
I didn't think so, but I was hoping.
It's sure it's close to Russian, which is Cyrillic.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call that family of languages. Is it
It's
Slavic.
Slavic?
It's probably Slavic, and if it's anything like Hungarian and Finnish are really related, and they're very ancient.
Well,
They're Proto-European or something.
Serbo-Croatian is the language of family of that portion of the world.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
My cursory Wikipedia search comes up with the same.
Is Russian Serbo-Croatian?
No, I'm
No,
sure
that's the same.
Russian
No.
is Slavic. No.
I think Russian is actually. I thought Russian was Cyrillic, but
Well, that's the alphabet. I don't know if
That's
that's
the alphabet. Yeah.
the family of the language.
well, it's East Slavic, according to Wikipedia.
Should we do a roll to see if any of my Satanists are language nerds?
God, Croatian. Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
What is how many dots you haven't heard?
Let's see. I have 2 dots in herd.
Okay. Give me 2 successes, and you have someone who can translate Croatian.
Okay. So I have to roll 2 dice and get 2 successes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm useful. I'm useless in this. I feed on morons.
Oh, 1 success.
They're all Indo-European.
Yeah, Indo-European is like the ancient sort of language that encompassed a lot of Europe and Asia, I think. At least the western part of Asia.
There is a high degree of mutual intelligibility between Russian, Belarusian, and Ukrainian, but not Croatian, unfortunately.
Yeah, I only got 1 success, so...
Okay. So, no. But they're happy to sit down and type stuff into Google Translate for you if you would like them to do that.
Great, yes.
Okay.
Homework.
And they probably said about that the night before. Or during the day. Okay.
Yeah. So presumably this evening they have something translated.
Yeah, they probably have most of one of the journals. What did I say? They had 5 or 7 journals? I don't remember. I think it was 5, something like that. 5 or something. How many?
I don't remember. I
A
think
plot appropriate amount.
Okay. So you've got one of them, and are you going to start with the most recent one?
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Okay. I don't know how much time you want to spend reading it, but a lot of it is day-to-day events. His more recent writings are about Georgina and how they seem to be becoming more and more estranged.
Ooh. Okay.
There's also within that journal is the introduction of the Posebny team, and but it doesn't have any details about where they're housed or anything like that. It just has to do. It's got names for contacts for people back in his home country, so he could recruit the people he needed. And he was consulting with someone back there, probably a Kindred, who was making suggestions on what he would need to make up the team, what kind of specialists and things like that. Cool. You know, also, whoever this contact was is probably... I think the contact is his brother, who was probably procuring these people and sending them over.
Cool. Okay.
Does it say anything about the motives for bringing them over? Was it just about the Anarchs, or were there any other motives for bringing this army into the Glittering Night?
In that journal, he's not formulating the need for them. That's probably in a previous journal. This is after the decision to have them, so there's no real justification for why. But it does look like, training-wise and things like that, they're not just there to they're definitely there to combat vampires.
Okay.
Obviously, that could be the Anarchs.
Right.
Or it could be, I mean, you also know that Posebny team means, like, secret team. Like a secret police. So it may very well have also been personal security and...
root out dissension.
Right, exactly.
there's no mention of what he uses to control them, or...
Money, probably.
Money, money and blood.
Yeah, because you get 30 armed people that can kill vampires. At some point, they're going to, that's a pretty dangerous pet to have if you don't have a leash.
Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting that he and Georgina were becoming estranged.
Mm-hmm. Gives us motive if we want to pin anything on her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she certainly maintained a separate lair. Otherwise, she would have been caught in the same explosion.
True.
Well, you don't house your president and vice president in the same building in an emergency. In times of crisis, at least.
Well, we have at least a few more journals to translate as well, so hopefully we'll get more information as they go back into it.
We do still have the matter of answering Anna Tremont's question.
I think we know that. You think we all agree. If you want to formulate a formal response to her.
Sure, I can do these things. I will send a text to her, and it's just going to be you up, winky face.
Lol. Lol, what's up?
Miss you. Trying to think of a way to encode where we should meet without, in case things get miss you. Free for a drink?
Sure. Smiley face.
How about our usual place? Or no, how about that last place we went?
Sounds good.
Okay. And hopefully she infers that when we met last is when I was planting guns for the Rose Bowl attack, and that's where we interacted.
She's going to think it's Miroslav's lair in the...
Oh, yeah, that is certainly the last place.
That's what I thought you were doing. Just listening in.
I mean, yeah, we can do that. We can do that if Lakshmi doesn't mind me borrowing her friend to get.
Miriam doesn't go anywhere without me.
Well, you're more than welcome to come. I have no problem with you
She's
coming.
also currently making an amulet for us.
And you guys can also use the Mote of Sin.
Yeah, we should.
You always have that entrance
true.
is always open.
True. All right,
Which actually is a... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to know how long Miriam was going to be out of commission on the amulet.
Oh, probably for at least a day or two.
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, I would rather not go alone. I trust Anna Tremont as far as I can throw her. Which actually would be pretty far, so I trust her less than I can throw her.
Yes, we should probably all go.
Yeah, I got nothing better to do.
Perhaps we can leave... We can leave Samuel here. He can read.
You can help the Satanists translate.
Mm-hmm. Or at least skim what they've translated and highlight any interesting passages.
Do we want to say that's what Felix is doing?
Oh, Felix might want to do other things.
That's true.
He's got contacts. He's got things he can do. I thought about that too. I was like, I don't want to take his agency.
You are correct. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah, let's road trip.
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We have a bunch of leftover weapons, if I remember correctly, and incendiary rounds, don't we?
I believe you do.
Okay.
Because we set up for that really big fight that didn't happen.
Oh,
Yeah, we have lots
So
of them.
much ammo.
Just in case, I'm going to bring a small... I'm not going to bring like a rifle or something.
Okay.
But a small firearm with some incendiary round. Just in case, because I'm down some health, and if this goes awry, that's not going to be fun.
I think that's a good idea. I'll take the pistol with incendiary around, just in case. If anything, if she finds it, we at least say we're being prepared, which is a good thing you want in allies, I would think.
We've all got pistols, so if we just want to get clips of incendiary rounds, then that would work. You could have normal rounds and incendiary, like one clip of incendiary, which would be what, 16, 8?
Depends on the gun. I mean,
Oh, okay.
at a minimum 6. I would say probably depending on the up to probably 10 or 12.
We're talking handguns, and the ones that can use incendiary rounds. So whatever ones we got, are the ones we're using. That's up to you.
Yeah, they're probably like 45s or something.
Perfect.
Because it's all Army issued stuff for the most part. So.
Yeah. Just tuck that in my habit.
Okay.
That's right. I forget you.
Beneath the billows of the coat that I'm wearing. It's very dramatic. A very dramatic moment. I opted not to go with the Bantam mask, which have a very ornate scarf that I can have wrapped around my face.
Okay.
A nice chiffon so you can still see through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a veil.
Phantom mask. Sing for me.
I'm playing a Toreador. It's my chance to be melodramatic.
Okay.
It's your duty to be melodramatic.
It's part of the job.
Right? They'll kick you out of the club if you're not.
All right. So you guys head to Mote of Sin
Yeah.
and go through the vampire-only entrance.
But why don't we do this? Why don't we cut some of the travel time off that? Why don't I say, hey, why don't we go for some ice cream? Our usual place? Question mark. Maybe it's just meet us at the Mote of Sin.
Okay. All right.
That we would have to go to the Mote of Sin and travel into the city, and then,
Right.
All right, so let's do that.
Okay. You get to the place. You park. You go to the back entrance, and Anna Tremont is in there waiting.
Great.
She's on her phone.
Oh, the phone works in here now? In the pocket dimension?
Well, you don't know what she's doing on her phone.
Oh.
She'd be playing Candy Crush for all we know.
Right. And it'd be ad-free because there's no internet connection.
Are we disturbing you?
No. I've just been waiting.
Okay.
What can I do for you?
We've had time to think it over.
Mm-hmm.
We like what you have to say.
Excellent.
You bring up a lot of good points. I think perhaps now is the time for a fresh take on leadership. And I'm very interested to see how we can help you achieve your goals. I mean, obviously, we're interested too in what this new regime can do for us, but we're definitely interested in listening to what you would want from us if we were to help you.
Well, at this point, we just need to get support. As you probably know, traditionally it is the Primogen Council that chooses the next prince. And in such situations where it doesn't turn to bloodshed, their decision usually holds. Now, it is because of the fact that I'm going to need to make promises to people about positions of power, it is unlikely I will be able to get very many of the Primogen Council on our side. Although I have spoken in very obtuse ways to two members of the Primogen Council, and one seems to be pretty firmly on the Paul Morphy side. The other one is in sort of, I think, it's hard to tell, sort of a wait-and-see thing.
What is the Paul Morphy side?
The Paul Morphy side is that Paul Morphy becomes prince.
And that's his ambition?
No.
It sound as though he was...
No, I did not speak with Paul Morphy. I spoke with two members of the Primogen Council. And one of the two I spoke with is on the pro-Paul Morphy faction. The other one, from what I can tell, isn't in any faction.
And who is this waffler?
Silas the Great.
Oh, I know him well. We've spoken of bear entrails many times.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't tell you what he thinks. I talked with him for almost a half hour, and I walked away knowing less about him than I did prior to that. But he doesn't seem to have a preference, I think.
What influence would the Mote of Sin have with the Primaging Council?
Not much. I mean, I suppose it's possible. I mean, it's Katarina von Leithizer. Didn't I say she was the? Mm-hmm. She was. Yes. Yeah, she's the Lord of the Mote of Sin. She's well respected amongst the indigenous vampire population. Definitely more respected by them than by the old worlders.
She's Lord of the Mote of Sin. Does she have a place on the council, or at least some power?
She does not have she does not have a place in the Primaging Council because she's outranked by polymorphy. Because she was also Toreador. She was Riley's sire, correct? Yeah. So, but I mean, she does. I mean, there are events that she is brought to, and she is treated with deference. But she does not have a vote on the Primaging Council.
Is she somebody that you would like on your side?
Sure.
Do you have any leads on where the Ukrainian or the Ukrainian gangsters are being held?
Oh, the Persephone team? I'm not sure. I've got someone looking into it for me.
You said you spoke with two members of the Primaging Council. Who is in Paul Morphy's camp?
Simon Perkins, who is the Nosferatu Primogen. The Nosferatu seem to be in Paul Morphy's. Generally seem to be on Paul Murphy's side right now.
What about Scully?
Scully is as well, I believe.
He strikes me more of an opportunist than anything.
Yes, he also kind of has a sort of traditional a bent towards tradition, as do a lot of the Nosferatu. But I mean, that's not that certainly didn't come as a surprise.
Have you spoken to Scully since last night? I mean, he has been asking about you. Your absence has been noted.
I had 14 texts when I came back, waiting for me, and yes, I spoke with him.
Good. I think that was a wise decision. Not that I'm here to advise you, but if I were in your position, I would have done the same. So what would you ask of us, and what would you give us in return for what you ask of us? Let's just get down to brass tacks.
Well, I mean, what I'm willing to give you will depend entirely upon what you're willing to do for the effort. If you're willing to go all in when I'm ready to go public, I could see, depending on the disposition of the people in those positions, giving you whatever positions you liked. But that in some ways may end up being you can have this position if you can make the person who's currently in it disappear.
Right. I was going to ask you, how much of the current council are you willing to keep?
I'll keep any of them that do not preclude me from paying back my friends. So if, for instance, someone of a particular clan was a good friend and helped me in in this matter, I would gladly give them the primogen seat, even at the objection of the current holder. Though I can't necessarily guarantee that I would be able to deal with that current holder, although that may end up being part of the entire process of taking control. I'm not sure how many of the Primogen Council will react when things start happening. And they do need to happen quickly, because I got another call from George Palmer, and the Camarilla is getting a little antsy. They want this taken care of in days, not weeks. And that is a quote.
Completely understandable.
And George Palmer also knows that I have put my hat in the ring.
Oh, he does. And others in the Camarilla know as well?
No, probably not. I don't know if he had passed that information up the food chain. He very well may have. I don't know.
Out of character, George Palmer was Miroslav's sire?
No, George Palmer was sent here by Miroslav's sire.
Okay, I knew that there was some connection to Miroslav's sire. I just couldn't remember how that happened. Okay.
Yeah, George Palmer's a veteran.
That's right. Thank you. What was his reaction? I mean, or does he not know how you came to have this newfound confidence?
He doesn't know. He very well may suspect. I mean, we have... The one thing I've learned is that what the Camarilla says should and should not happen is not necessarily in line with those most powerful in the Camarilla do and don't do, if you get my meaning.
Absolutely.
Because every ancient vampire is terrified of diablerie. So, of course, they want diablerie to be as forbidden as possible. Yeah, exactly.
But none of them would be where they are without it.
Probably. You are probably correct. I know that Carlotta Escoval, who is the Gangrel Primogen, she's also on the fence, according to Silas. I was able to get that one piece of definite information out of him.
What did he say specifically to you?
Pardon?
What did he say specifically to you? I know his language can be a bit opaque, but sometimes I can interpret it.
Well, he said he saw a vision in the entrails of a possum.
Oh, possum. Okay.
And then he went on to describe the size and girth of the possum, saying that it probably visited many trash cans each night, finding large amounts of surplus food that likely belonged to the people who owned the houses about which those trash cans were laid. And then he said that there would be great change, and he was not sure if that change would be good or bad, but that it would happen. And once upon him seeing it, he would then make a determination about whether it was good or bad, if he felt that was necessary, and had enough information to make such a determination, which he was not sure he would have.
It will require more intestines, I am sure.
Probably.
I will ponder this and see if I can derive any meaning from it additionally.
I may have left bits and pieces of it out. I sort of phased away a few times.
That's usually for the best.
Understandable. Thank you for the details, though.
It would be interesting to know. I mean, he is probably the most indiscernible kindred I've ever met. If there were someone who maybe had a closer relationship to him, who might be willing to have such a conversation and see if indeed he does have a position on this.
Oh, certainly. We discussed. I have visions myself, and so Silas and I have discussed them at great length. You could say we have a rapport. I would be willing to discuss it with him and also take some time in prayer and see what I can see as well.
That would be extremely helpful.
My pleasure.
Do you have a short list of kindred you'd be interested in reaching out to? Not necessarily in the Primogen Council, but those that you think could be easily convinced to join your cause with the proper persuasion, with the proper wheedling, with the proper venue.
Well, there is a coterie in Long Beach, based around the arts district, that I would like to have on my side. They are mostly Toreador. One of which may have been one of Sebastian's flurry of Childer before his demise. I don't know this for certain, but if he is one of Sebastian's Childer, it would at this point be almost as powerful as me.
And surely with an axe to grind with the current administration.
Absolutely.
You have his name?
I, in fact, do.
Out of character, what was the name of the other priest that we met at the policeman's ball? The vampire priest?
Oh.
Apostle X, is that right?
Yep.
That's right.
That's
Apostle
it.
X. And where was he based?
Oh, he's Anarch.
Oh, well, that's right.
Yeah, he's up in the valley, like Burbank or farther.
The priest that I ghouled is from Long Beach. That's
who I was thinking of. Yes.
Oh, that one. That was the one that you guys caught on the Mote of Sin. Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. I thought you were talking about the one that
I was
party.
getting my
Okay.
priest confused.
Got it.
We got a lot of priests in this game.
His name is Stephen Madison. And he is head of the coterie in the sort of downtown Long Beach area.
And is he Tory?
He's Toreador.
Well, perhaps a salon is in order. A meeting of the great artistic minds of the glittering night. Event here with the proper influence can be quite persuasive.
I would be very appreciative of that because I do believe that he would be quite influential with most of the coteries in Long Beach. There are 3 or 4 coteries in Long Beach in total. Big city.
Mm-hmm. I can see what I can do.
Okay.
If we were to approach, what was it, Lighthizer? If we were to approach the Lord of the Mote of Sin, what could we offer her just to keep her position?
Possibly. I don't know how large of an enticement that would be. I'm certainly. I don't know if a Primogen position would be available for her, as she is a Toreador. But there are other positions that could perhaps be offered. There is a Harpy. I have a feeling she would be very good in such a position. Do you guys know what the Harpy is?
Nope.
I used to, and I don't remember now.
Harpy,
sort of the sergeant at arms, right?
well, kind of. The Harpy does two things. One, keeps track of who's one of the cool kids and who isn't. It's kind of at the behest of the prince. And secondly, the Harpy is, sometimes it moves around, but the Harpy is one of the positions that keeps track of the boons, which is the favors that are owed from vampire to vampire. And they're also, the reason that they have those, both of those jobs is because if someone reneges on a boon, then there will very often, the Harpy will use their other authority to make sure that that vampire is, persona non grata. I don't know if you guys are familiar, because there's no mention of boons in the Vampire 5th book, but...
I always forget about them.
Right.
In fact, what we're doing here probably begs a boon.
You bet. It would, yeah, absolutely. That's one of...
We probably wouldn't be out of our...
Although, this may not be one of those boons you want to get put on the books with the Harpy right now.
Not right now.
But yes, this would definitely be at least an informal acquisition of a boon. But, I mean, a position could be found for her if she is unhappy with the position on the Mote of Sin.
But we could also just say that nothing would change. She would still be the Lord of Mote of Sin, which is a pretty big job in and of itself, with a lot of power, controlling the coteries. She's in charge of an entire area with shipping and money and people.
Yes.
I just certainly, even sometimes just maintaining the status quo might be enough for her to back you up, or at least...
Yeah, but people are more likely to follow you if you put a carrot on that stick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's better than beating it with a stick, but a stick with a string on it is not as good as a stick with a string on it and a carrot.
That metaphor gets a little messy. You guys have any more questions? I can't think of anything else.
Well, I have my homework. I don't know if
Who are you approaching next?
Myself? I'm currently going to speak with another member of the Primaging Council. And this one is, I know for a fact, not on my side. But I might be able to convince him otherwise.
And who is that? Just so we can keep a tally.
Looking that up right now. Okay, I said Silas the Great, and who was the other one that he's already spoken to? Because now I'm losing track. There's too many.
Simon Perkins.
Simon Perkins, okay.
I don't have a clan for. Who's the Primaging of?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, that's right, thank you.
Yeah. Carlotta Escoval, who is Gangrel. The Gangrel Primogen.
Yeah, she mentioned that already. That Carlotta was on the fence.
Yes, that's who she's next going to go talk to.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Bruja and Gangrel, they've got, they're dissatisfied. And they hate Ventru. Not that
who doesn't?
Right.
I do want to ask her, what are your thoughts on, what is the Bruja Primogen's name again?
Which one?
The Bruja Primogen, that was Balanos.
Balanos Vasilopoulos.
What are your thoughts on where his opinions lie?
Well, he's my Primogen, currently. He's a little irritated with me because I kind of played a disappearing act for a while. But he is definitely on Georgina Blazek's faction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you guys had already determined that in our
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
session because you actually talked to him.
Do you think he can be swayed to your side?
He is old school hidebound. I don't see him being in the new regime.
He's genuinely terrifying.
My heart breaks at the thought of the loss of him.
He is no slouch, but he exemplifies the reasons that there needed to be a change.
Hmm.
And so if there's not anything else, I have a busy night.
We certainly
Apparently,
do.
so do we.
If you would like, perhaps tomorrow evening early we can meet here again and compare notes.
I think that would be a great idea.
That makes the most sense.
Okay.
One last question before you leave. Would you be open to enticing former Anarchs into the Camarilla if they were to help?
If they behave themselves. But they have to behave themselves, which means they have to act like Camarilla, not Anarchs. I do have a few contacts there because we do have a few spies that we run there. Scully and I.
I just was thinking for extra manpower, if you could offer them a carrot and they were willing to join the Camarilla and behave themselves, then that's more people on your side.
Yes, I'm
You
sure
would be
I could.
bringing in.
I'm sure I could probably convince dozens of them to come over. Whether or not I could trust them is an entirely different matter.
And if I may speak frankly, the best bet you have politically in getting rid of Georgina and the current regime is showing that you were able to take care of the issues they were unable to take care of. I don't see the Glittering Knight making some kind of deal with Anarchs who sees power as overcoming that issue. It's
Right.
more succumbing to that issue. That's just me if I were in your position.
I would generally agree with you. There may be one or two people there that have been very helpful to the Glittering Knight, who may want to come over, or they may want to stay in place. I don't know.
It's one thing to accept defectors after the fact, but most Kindred now want to know that their rulers are dealing with the Second Inquisition and they're dealing with the Anarchs.
Right.
We're being attacked on two sides. And whoever the next Lord of the Glittering Knight is, hopefully you, will need to show, not tell, that they can deal with these threats.
Correct. And right now, my plan is to attempt to redirect the Second Inquisition towards the Anarchs.
That's a tall order.
Won't work as well as you think it will.
Why is that?
Because they're already working with them.
Does the Second Inquisition know that they're working with vampires?
We haven't infiltrated them far enough to find out. But based on interactions with the Anarchs that we've had in our own territory as they attempted to encroach, they have contacts there.
I'm trying to remember, has Samuel said anything about knowing... No, I don't think he did, right? About knowing that the Persistent Dawn was working with Anarch people in the area?
Did who know that?
Samuel, my ghoul. My previous Second Inquisition ghoul.
No, he didn't know anything.
I didn't think so. Okay, just wanted to double check.
He did tell you there are a few people outside of Persistent Dawn that they deal with, usually clergy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just want to double check. I didn't think so, but
Right.
he was the closest we had to a connection to the Second Inquisition, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave that stone unturned.
Right. And Anna says that I have at least a section of a spy ring within the Anarchs, and could probably, without too much difficulty, find 4 or 5 different havens that could end up on Persistent Dawn's hit list, if we can figure out how to get that information to them safely.
We can look into that for you as well. I mean,
if we
can't guarantee we'll find anything, but we'll put it on our list.
That would be appreciated. Anything else?
No, I believe I have some formal invitations to send to Long Beach.
Okay. And she takes her leave. And I would like to end it here if we can.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of prep to do now.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have no idea what I'm going to do. So yeah, I would appreciate not having to think that up on my feet.
Okay.
Yeah, and Joey, for what it's worth, the Mote of Sin is also led by a Toreador.
Right. I don't know. My thought is, because Colin likes the idea of gaining more power, and if he can be the face of the Toreador and getting the Toreador for this cause, that could be a good thing. So the Mote of Sin is definitely on his periphery, but it's not a major power yet. So he's focusing on what Anna wants first, and then maybe bring the Mote of Sin as a side thought or a secondary target.
It's more warm bodies for the grist mill.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. All right. So thank you for joining us for session 10, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for session 11.
2
2
weeks.
weeks. Thank you very much. And
Thanks.
goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.